I'm sure you're all familiar with the counting numbers. Virtually in history, they were the first numbers that we started working with. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc. And along came the need for something that represented nothing at all. So that was the number 0. And then we needed to develop a negative quantity. So we went to the negative numbers. Incidentally, 0 is neither positive nor negative. Sits in the middle. And so this is a basic number line system with the what I call the integers, the whole numbers, and they can be expressed on a line. They obviously go on infinitely in either direction. So we need to be able to work with these numbers and to be able to learn the basic operations. And there are 4 arithmetic operations. And they are plus, minus, multiply and divide. So we need to be able to come up with some sort of method, and we developed a method for working with these numbers, these what we call directed numbers, because we've got positives and negatives. And you're all familiar with multiplying and adding positive numbers, but what happens when we mixed some positives and some negatives together? And there are certain rules that you just need to have in your head as to how this operates, because we're going to work and develop a bit further on down the track here working with algebraic numbers, and we need to know what's behind all this as far as how the method works, because if we can understand it with actual real numbers, then the algebraic numbers will be quite easy when we get to that. So let's go. So let's do addition first. And we'll do a few examples. And we might just change the colour of our pen here so it's easy to see. So if we had, say, 4 plus negative 2. Now, when a number is written and there is no sign in front of it, as is this 4 here, it is understood to be a positive. So if there is no direction of the number, that is no positive or negative in front, it's understood to be a positive. Have a look over here. This is the operation add, and this is the direction of the 2. It's raised above where your normal pluses and minuses are, so it's a little bit higher, not as quite as high as where a power would go. The power would go over here, obviously, but it's not quite that high. So this means we've got a negative 2, and we're going to add 4 to that negative 2. So we start up here on the number line with the position of where the 4 is. When we add, we always go to the right. This up here is the positive direction, and this up here is the negative direction. So when we are starting at the 4, we're going to add. That means we're going to go in this direction, but wait a minute. This here tells us we're not going to switch the direction. So instead of going to the right, this negative up here means, whoops, we'll go back here too. So we're going to go back 2, and we end up at positive 2. Now we don't have to write the positive in front there. Okay, let's do another one. So if we've got, say, negative 2 plus negative 3. Okay, we're going to start at negative 2. So if we go up on our number line here, we're going to start there. Positive means we're going to go this direction, but this negative up here says, no, we're going to switch direction and actually go 3 units that way. And so we end up at negative 5. Okay, maybe one more. And if we've got negative 1 plus 5, we're going to start at negative 1. so -1 up here, and we're going to add 5. Now there's no switching direction, so this just means we're going to keep going 5 units in the positive direction. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we end up with +4. We don't have to write the positive. So that's addition. Let's just now look at subtraction. Okay, similar type of deal. We've got, say, -2 take 4. This is where we start, -2, which is up here where we started, the blue one over there, -2. This says we're going to go in the left direction and we're going to go 4 units. So we'll just go underneath 1, 2, 3, 4, and we end up at -6. We do another one, colour not to be confused, and we've got 3 minus -2. We're going to start at the number 3, so we'll start here. And this says we're going to take, so we're going to go in the left direction. This says, whoops, we're going to change direction. So we were going to the left, now we're going to go to the right, and we're going to go 2. So starting at 3, this says we're going to go left, that negative says we're going to go right, and we're going to go 2 units. So 1, 2, and we end up at +5. We could put the plus there. It's not necessary, we could just put 5. So there's addition and subtraction. Multiplication and division. I'll do them together. The rules are pretty much the same. If both signs are the same, then the answer is positive. And if both signs are opposite, then the answer negative. So how does that work? So let's just go 4 times -3. So we've got a positive here times a negative, so the answer is going to be -12. -8 divided by -2. Both signs are the same, so the answer is positive. Now another way to write that too is -8 over -2, and that's just equal to +4. And as I said, we don't need to write the positive if we don't want to. So when the multiplication division, easy rule, you've got to think about it a little bit more when we're doing addition and subtraction. So as I say, we need to be able to understand these processes, because when we get to algebraic manipulation of algebraic numbers, then we apply the same rules and the same way of thinking as if we do when working with positive and negative numbers.